project? Because the course is built around trying to make yourself smarter, stronger, and more sociable. And we do all that together, but I ask everybody to pick a specific project, usually with one of the three, and then you work on that, and we read James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, so that people learn, the behaviorist techniques of changing your behavior gradually. So if you talk about either your project or just like your history through the course, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Anita, and I took the course primarily because I knew I was always like a pretty reactive person, and I knew that was something I wanted to change. I think like emotions are usually frowned upon, and even like a classroom setting, like it's always best to be more logical and reasonable. So when I read the course description, I'm sure you guys just did there, it really appealed in that main way, and I knew it was going to be about flourishing, but I didn't really know the extent to which like the diverse ways of flourishing really manifested. That would be my favorite part of the class, just because I think throughout the course what I learned was primarily that it was never going to be like an aha moment where I was like, oh, I finally achieved flourishing. I finally flourished. That it was always going to be like a journey, and I think that was like the beauty of it. I would say I'm not necessarily as reactive as I was before, but I think that's the point, that the project is something that you do within the course, but you can continue to do it outside, and I think a lot of people specifically chose to do it even after the course.
And what would you say what is it that made you less reactive? Was it something you read in the course? Yeah.
I should have said it.
We want to give advice to people who want to suggest readings or activities.
Yeah, it was Stoicism, so it's like a book by Marcus Aurelius. I'm sure there's other books you can read about Stoicism, but it was like my first book into a philosophy that was like very much based on accepting things the way they are, but instead of reacting negatively to it, just not reacting at all. And you might think like that's a little stupid, like I need to react. Things happen and I need to respond to it, but the whole philosophy is that there are external factors that you can't control, and the only thing that you can really control is yourself. And a lot of hate, fear, anger, disgust, like all these bad emotions are usually because of poor reactions to things and not necessarily the reaction itself. And I would highly recommend everyone to take it. It's one of the required books in the syllabus, but even if you're not planning on being a devout Stoic, it's still a good book to start in.
So there were two books. So there was Marcus Aurelius Meditations. We read selections from that, and then the book. Would you say the Stoic Challenge? Did you say the name of the author?
Oh no.
Yeah. So the book. So one of the books this is probably the favorite book, both in the grad and undergrad courses. It's a book called The Stoic Challenge by William Irvine. The Stoic Challenge by William Irvine. It's an amazing book. I use it myself. I got a lot out of it when I first read it. And it really guides you through, when you have a setback, like, okay, you can get upset if you want, but then you're actually failing twice. There was a problem that came up, that's an obstacle, and now you're putting more obstacles in your way. Why don't you just treat it as a Stoic challenge? It's a challenge to you as a Stoic. Can I deal with this without getting upset? Let me just think how to solve this. And then when you do, you're like, wow, I did it. So, okay, thank you, Anita. Okay, Raj?
All right. Hi, I'm Raj. I took flourishing my very first semester of college, and so I really went into it wanting to figure out what I should do with myself these next 4 years. And so I came into it with an open mind, and in regards to the specific project I took, like a typical business student, I was job-oriented or job-focused, and so I was like, I want to learn how to actually look for job opportunities better, and I actually want to know how to apply to these things. And so my habit I was working on was learning more about how to look for job opportunities, how to write a good resume, how to set up interviews, how to talk to mentors and talk to my upperclassmen. And so throughout the semester, that was the main project I focused on. But what I didn't also recognize at the start, but that I gradually learned throughout, was that I was picking up all these different pieces of advice throughout the courses in regards to being more sociable, smarter, and stronger. And so, if you don't mind, I'd like to go through some of the biggest pieces of advice I got. Similar to Anita, in regards to setbacks, I'm a commuter, and so if you take the MTA, you know how terrible delays can be sometimes. And for me, I find myself being less frustrated now because I realize, getting angry is not going to do anything. It's just going to make me feel worse and me suffer more if I just feel like my day's ruined just because the train was 5 minutes late. And in regards to being more sociable, there's this incredible book that we read from Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I gained a lot from that book in terms of actually making new friends. The biggest thing I got was actually smiling more. My resting face is definitely not the most agreeable. So I learned that, you should smile more. People will like you better. And I can legitimately say that taking Professor Haidt's class got me a girlfriend. She's right there. Because we learned a lot about taking risks, and there's another phrase we learned called toughness training, where you purposely put yourself out there and take risks in order to adapt and be just better in facing those challenges. And so one of these classes, I joked to my friends, hey, you know what'd be a great example of toughness training? You just ask me out a girl. And so I practiced that myself. I saw her at the gym, I asked her out, and we've been dating for 4 months now. I think it's going pretty good. So definitely it's one of those things where, hey, you should take more of those risks because you never know what's going to happen. And what's the worst that can come from actually putting yourself out there? And on top of that, I think one of the biggest takeaways I got from the class was how what is most meaningful to me in my life. And I learned that what I care about is finding purpose in the work I'm doing and creating relationships and interacting with people, and also just experiencing awe and beauty around me. And I found that the phone and a phone-based lifestyle detracted from all of that for me. So in regards to interacting with people, obviously if you have your phone on, you're less likely to actually speak to people. I found that in classes, it's so easy to, in those little awkward spaces in between classes, at the start of class, at the end of class, go to your phone and scroll, when instead you could actually be introducing yourself to people around you and saying, hey, did you understand that lecture? I didn't get any of it. But, so that for sure in regards to socially interacting with people and creating genuine relationships. In regards to finding purpose in my work, I found that I thrive off the fact that all the work I'm putting in college is going towards my future. And through that framing, I realized that, I should give 110% of myself in the classroom and doing my work. And because of that, taking out my phone when I'm stuck in class or bored and scrolling instead of paying attention, that directly harms my future. And so I found that framing it that way made me more alert and more focused in class, and also made me appreciate and feel more grateful for the opportunities I have at NYU. And finally, in regards to awe and beauty in life, I found that before I used to have my phone everywhere. As a commuter, I'm walking all the time. I'm spending 2 hours of my day back and forth from Manhattan and the Bronx. Sometimes I go to Brooklyn for some classes on that campus, and I would find myself walking with my phone in my face, or I used to. Now I can actually walk around, appreciate the weather, see the city. The city is so beautiful. I walk from Astor Place down to the campus, and I'm just like, wow, it's so open, and you can see the buildings. And also, I'm from the Bronx, and the Bronx has so many beautiful parks. And I'm a runner, and I love to just run around the park, sit by the river, just chill and look at the sky and the sunset. And I think the biggest thing I got from the class was finding that meaning in my life and recognizing what makes me happy, and the use of my phone directly detrimented that.
Thank you, Raj. That was a wonderful narration. So when I was walking over here tonight, just the 2 blocks from Stern, the park is bursting out in blooms. I mean, the trees and the flowers in the park are gorgeous. And exactly 1 year ago, so the week that we did the All Walk in Anita's class, it was this weekend. It was unusually warm. It was an incredible day. Raj, I think your year, there was rain most of that week, unfortunately. Yeah. But Anita, just remind me, did you have a good All Walk? I can't remember. Just say what the assignment was, and then what your experience was.
Yeah, so the awe walk is like exactly what it sounds like. You walk and you try to appreciate as much awe as you can, without your phone, obviously. So I completely left my phone at home. I didn't go to Wash. I went to the Hudson Pier, and I don't usually go because I think that's where all like, the finance people are, and I try to avoid that. Well, that's the point. I try to avoid it in my off time. But I went there, and it's just like, I don't know, I'm from Washington State, so there's already a lot of nature. It wasn't like I grew up without nature or anything, but I can't imagine for someone who grew up primarily like with a phone in their face, how that must have felt, because it really just reconnected me back to, like, I would literally climb trees growing up, so that sense of childhood and like just reconnected with nature, because there's so much awe in the things that you see, do, and the other assignment was we had to take a picture. My picture was terrible. I'm not a photographer for those reasons. But everyone's picture was so beautiful, and you could just tell that when they submitted it, there was a reason why they found it beautiful. And it doesn't have to be like an actually aesthetic picture. It was just in that moment you felt awe about something and you were able to capture it. So in some regard, we still had to use a phone to capture the picture. But beyond that, like, I didn't even think about my phone when I like really got into that state of enjoying the situation I was in the environment.
Yeah, so to be clear, the assignment was to do two things, because we had a week on awe and beauty. And so one was the awe walk. And for your year, I didn't make it explicit that you shouldn't take your phone, so that's great that you did, because people in your year, they almost all took their phones with them.
Yeah.
And so for Raj's year, I specifically said, don't, if you can possibly leave your phone home, please do. And a number of people said they were really anxious at first, but then they discovered they actually can exist without a phone in their pocket. And it was kind of thrilling. Raj, do you have anything to add on the awe walk? Oh, then just the photograph, that was supposed to be a separate assignment, was